Hello, I'm Tom and welcome to Tom's Woodworking. In this video, I'm going to show you how I built this beautiful walnut console table. I first start by removing the bark from this 8/4 walnut, which will be the top of the table. Making anything with live edge, you want to keep as much of the character of the wood as possible. Once the bark is removed, I use my random orbital sander to remove as much of the rough left over as possible. I'm not putting any pressure on the sander. I'm careful not to flatten the edge and ruin the natural curves. I've sped up and skipped a lot of the sanding process, as it is mostly repetitive work. Now it is time to square up the board. I use my carpenter square to mark the cut. I make the cut at the miter station. I decided to remove a little more from one end to make the table an even 60 inches. Now back to the table for more sanding. Since the top piece is pretty much finished, I prepare most of the standing at this stage. I measure the center of the board that will make up the legs. I chose this piece as the knot is in the middle and I can use most of the board. I cut the board in half to make it more manageable at the table saw. This piece is 15 inches wide, and it's too wide for my planer, so I rip off 3 inches. This is not the final dimension. I head to my planer and run a scrap piece through. It is not really necessary, but I like to practice prior to using the good piece. This way, I can check for snipe, and if I'm taking too much off on the first pass. Now I run my table legs through. It takes multiple passes to smooth out the pieces. Finally, I run my tabletop through to make sure all the pieces are the same dimension. Again, this is not necessary for this table. However, it would bother me knowing that they were slightly different. I run the tabletop upside down. This way, if there's any snipe, it will be located underneath, which I will sand out later. I measure the legs to length and make the cut at the miter station. And back to more sanding. I measure out the distance where my legs will be located. Since my tabletop is a live edge, the width from the back to the front are not the same. So I found a location that were similar in width and determined the width of both legs. I marked the width of my legs. Then head to the table saw for final dimensioning. I'm sanding the bottom of the tabletop, removing any marks and removing the snipe from the planer. Since this will be the final sanding, I work my way up through the grits, starting at 100 all the way up to 180. I draw a straight line where the leg is going to be located. As you can see here, this leg arrives too close to the front end of the table, so I mark the distance. I use a wood carving disc on my angle grinder to remove the excess wood. I use this method so I can maintain the look of the live edge leg. And more sanding. And it fits. I mark out both sides of the leg so I can landmark the locations of the dominoes. I determined to use 3 dominoes equally spaced. I mark out the location of the dominoes on the legs and transfer the marks onto the tabletop. I don't have a lot of experience with using the domino. However, using this scrap piece of 5/8 plywood, my domino plunger arrives in the center of my leg. The video looks shaky as I accidentally hit the slow motion button on the iPhone. After gluing the legs to the tabletop, I let it dry overnight, and now I'm removing the dried glue. I use Titebond 2 for this application. This table is pretty narrow, and it will be used as a nice accent piece. I wanted clean lines and with a modern and rustic look. The tenons and glue will be plenty strong for this application. I blow off the dust. And clean off the surface with mineral spirits. I'm using Rubio Monocoat Pure for the finish. This is the first time I work with Rubio. It comes with 2 parts and needs to be mixed at a 3-to-1 ratio. I mix the finish and apply it with a spatula. Before I decided to use Rubio, I looked at lots of videos on YouTube, and I was surprised at how easy it was to be applied. You basically wipe it on, rub it in, and wipe off. It leaves a clean, even finish. Once the bottom of the table legs were dried to the touch, around 30 minutes, I asked my son to help me turn the table over. I repeated the process for the top and forgot to record this part. Here is the finished product. Thank you for watching. Please leave comments or suggestions in the comment section. I enjoy woodworking and making videos, and I really want to make the most informative video for everyone.